It is hard getting your first job in tech, whether you already graduated a CS degree, whether you self-studied your way here, whether you're a boot camp grad. I went through a boot camp program a couple years back, and it's just the way it is. The first job getting into tech is going to be the hardest to land. But I have been there, so I would love to help anyone else that's in the same position as I was a couple of years ago. I was talking to a graduate from a boot camp recently, and he was asking if it's even worth trying to look for a job right now, considering the state that everything is in. Things are so shut down across the country. And I replied, absolutely, start the job search now. So, first and foremost, some companies are still hiring. There are some companies that are actually doing well right now, and there are other companies that are still hiring just because it's absolutely necessary that they still have a presence online. So some companies like fintech, biotech, really anything in medicine, they have to have an online presence. So they're still looking for candidates. And if you are able to prove that you know something based on maybe the projects that you have online, based on your GitHub account, if you can prove that you're worth talking to, they could hire you. So don't give up hope just because a lot of companies are freezing their hiring processes. Some companies are still hiring. In addition to those companies, there are companies, all sorts of supermarket chains are doing really well right now, and a lot of the packaged foods that end up going to those supermarkets, they're worth, they're out there, so you just have to go find them. Number two is, this is a habit that you're just gonna have to get into. Like, not as many companies are hiring right now compared to what they were maybe 2 months ago, but things will return to that level. Especially in technology, things are going to get back there. So if you can form the habit right now, get that habit started, it might take a while to build up the habit to where you want it to be, but if you can get the habit started, then when even more companies have opened up their hiring process again, you're not going to be stumbling trying to get into the habit. You will already be doing exactly what you need to be doing. So that leads me into my third point, that I don't want you to miss out on the recovery. There's going to be a point when maybe 2 more companies are hiring than they are right now. Maybe 3 more companies are hiring than they are right now. And if you wait until someone gives some sort of all clear sign, you're going to miss out on any of those companies that have first opened the door to start hiring people again. And you don't want to do that. What if one of those companies that are the first to open their door over the next couple of weeks, a couple of months, what if that is the job that's for you? You would have missed out on it. So get into the habit right now of applying, and you're going to have the most opportunity before you versus if you would wait and then apply. So number 4, practice makes perfect. The more you're able to go through this process, and the more you're able to tailor the application to a specific job, the more you're able to practice those technical interviews. It's going to be uncomfortable at first, I hear you, but the more you're able to do it, the better you're going to be each time. Even if it doesn't end up resulting in a job, you can try to frame this whole process as, okay, well, I didn't get the job, but I got a little bit better at this one thing. If you can have that mindset in this process, then you're going to notice that each time you go through an interview process, likely you're going to get better each of those times, and that will result eventually in a job offer, in you starting your first job. Number 5, use this as motivation. When I graduated my boot camp, I tended to think that I wasn't ready. All of the instructors had told us, look, now you have the skills, now you're developers, but I had such severe imposter syndrome at that point. I thought, no way am I actually ready to go out there and get paid to be doing this. And because of that thought process, I had this strategy that I was going to go through, go back and revisit all of the curriculum of my boot camp. And then I was also going to start taking courses because I wanted to dive into React, because I didn't know React at that point, and knew a lot of companies were looking for people with React experience. Well, about 3 weeks after I had graduated, I had to start being honest with myself that I wasn't going to be putting in the same hours as when I had been in the boot camp. I was burnt out from working so hard. I didn't have that accountability anymore because I wasn't going in person to be coding alongside my cohort anymore. I just had to realize that if I don't start applying right now, my skills were going to steadily decrease. So it's a little bit scary thinking that you might be putting yourself out there and hear back from a company and they're going to want to put you through a technical interview and you maybe think you're not ready. But that's actually all good motivation to make sure that you're still spending time, still sharpening your skills. If you put out the applications, you have to follow through on keeping your skills up to date. So apply. And then number 6, start your job search now, because a good job search process involves a lot of networking, and the networking takes time. I do know not a lot of people love to hear the word network, but I do have quite a few tips that I will link up in another video soon. But really, that's going to be the key, to have a lot of connections and start making those connections as soon as you possibly can, and then you can use those connections once we're all on the other side of this mess. Now, if you are a bootcamp grad, chances are that you are working with a career coach affiliated with your program, but things can still get overwhelming. Or maybe you're not a bootcamp graduate and you don't have a career coach that you're working with. I would love to offer any help that I can. So please leave comments below with any questions that you've got. Visit my website. You can find a time to talk to me. I want to help. I want to be a resource for you. Please take advantage of that while you can.